We are here with a match! Yay! GhettoCast continues here with the WCA, or WCA rather. I just woke up, so I might be slightly tired. I think Blaze has the opposite problem. Hi, Blaze.
Hello. Yeah, I've actually been up for I think like 18 hours now, so getting to the tail end of it, but still riding off the momentum of some amazing games so far. We saw Cloud9 take a couple of, I wouldn't say upsets necessarily, but certainly comeback swings off of 6.82. So really exciting to see, and here's to see this other West versus East matchup here. Team Malaysia, aka X Titan, going up against Alliance here, and in the round one.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I didn't see the rest of the games because, like, really, half an hour ago I was still peacefully asleep. So I'm counting on you to catch me up to speed for that. What are we expecting for this match?
Well, nothing's necessarily on the line as far as elimination goes. They're not go. It is a double elimination bracket, at least that's what Greg was pulling up. So I believe here they're just going to be fighting to try to go into that upper bracket and be able to deal with a Cloud9 directly. They were able to take down LGD in a 2-1 swing. It was a very close call, but Terrorblade came out and came in full force, really. He was able to do a lot of structural damage and really just do his own thing. They didn't have an answer for him, or the draft wasn't enough, obviously, and in the end, LGD did fall. But here it's a little bit of a different story. We're going to be seeing a Lion picked up for presumably a support like Net or Extinct for Team Malaysia, as well Ohio's Nature's Prophet, one of his go-to hero pickups, is going to be available here. But it looks like Alliance are drafting a little bit outside of what we've seen for the meta most recently. Perhaps Loda's going to be picking up this Naga Siren. Obviously, we've seen Alliance run at support in the past, but no matter how they run it, they've got flexible heroes with some potential, though not really ones that have been buffed in 6.82.
Yeah, something that Alliance actually said, or rather Aki said before they went to China, was that they were saving strats for WCA, which, it sounds very cliche and corny, but I wouldn't put it past them to see them pulling stuff out of their head, especially because it is a double elimination bracket, as you mentioned, so you do have a second chance, so even if your poker strategy does not work, you can still make it through by just playing your solid lineup. So I'm actually expecting something weird to come out here. Also, one thing for this match that I'm actually kind of curious about, we have not seen the lineup of Team Malaysia play together for a long time, so for Cat Sounds. They have, of course, played together before. We know them from TI3. They did really well, and they had a really good running as well. But this is, I think, their first tournament with this roster, right?
They've been doing some online games. Essentially, Mushi's been connected as a stand-in under those circumstances, and they have been doing a lot of practice with him, but nothing of this caliber. Nothing that's like really high stakes. And in this environment, obviously, there's a lot of money on the line.
Yeah. We are gonna go into the next picking phase. We've got Agent Operation Sand King removed from the pool. Two heroes generally as support. Both combine up really nice with that line, of course. Getting a range for Burst Strike, getting that cold feed off. And we have a Bristleback ban, Visage ban, fine enough. But a Bristleback ban coming out from Team Malaysia. What do you make of that one?
Yeah, that's an interesting ban. I didn't really. We've seen Admiral Bulldog run the Bristleback a decent bit in the past, and it would be a little bit difficult for them to deal with them picking up heroes that don't have a lot of raw HP initially, and in some cases low armor as well. But it's just because they want to really just put all the front-loaded burst damage into heroes like the Naga Siren and the Viper, take them out of the fight very quickly with the Finger of Death and some raises, and the Bristleback kind of adds to that fight, makes it last longer. Obviously, you can see the Crimson Guard come out, make it more difficult for the right clicks to accomplish too much. So I could see it being a real threat, and they do indeed take it off the table as well, picking up Shadow Fiend, which is one that has been played by both KYXY and Mushi very recently. So excited to see who's going to pick that one up and how it performs in this game.
Yeah, and if he's going to be up against that Viper, because overall Shadow Fiend is a pretty solid, sturdy mid in terms of one versus one matchup. The weakness of a Shadow Fiend, of course, being able to get ganked, doesn't really have an escape, and if you shut him down early on in the game, it is going to be a problem. But Viper overall also a very strong mid. So in terms of mid matchup, Shadow Fiend versus Viper, and I know it can still change in terms of who goes where. Shadow Fiend could go safe lane for all we know. Viper could go safe lane for all we know. Who would you favor?
10 seconds remaining.
I would say that Mushi, for example, is skilled enough to get enough
5
early CS on the
seconds
Shadow
remaining.
Fiend to gain momentum. The Necromastery will give him a little bit more advantage than Nether Toxin as far as CS
Reserve
goes.
time.
And it's going to be on Alliance to actually force rotations against the mid lane. They're going to try to look for gank opportunities against him because
Alliance's turn to
as
pick.
it stands, I think the Shadow Fiend will be able to get just a little bit more in CS. Still both very powerful in their own right as laners, but those raises are really strong. And the fact that you can pretty much constantly bottle runes with the fact that
Yeah.
one spawns in each location makes it really easy for him to at least guarantee some CS.
Yeah, with Enchantress picked up, also Team Malaysia is going for some rotations. Of course, it's one of the jungle supports that you can make a big difference in the game very early on. For
10
Alliance,
seconds remaining.
Naga Siren, if she is run as support, which I don't really think
5
anymore
seconds
is the
remaining.
case, but if she is, not really that typical of a ganking support. Not really the fastest,
Reserve
needs something to
time.
pair up with her. But I'm actually thinking Alliance is going to go for 2 supports. And perhaps now that the Enchantress got picked up by Malaysia, by Team Malaysia, they might be running a jungle hero as well. And of course, we know that Aki loves that.
Ooh.
And wow, we haven't seen her in ages. Or
Radiant
rather,
team
I haven't
won.
seen her picked up in ages. I don't know, maybe
No,
there's
I haven't
matches that
either.
I haven't watched. You never know. I like it
Yeah.
though. I mean, she's
It's really good.
pushy, but she's
But her Frostbite is absolutely amazing against neutral creeps. Not just jungling on her own side, but when Enchantress tries to move
10
in with a
seconds
Centaur or
remaining.
whatever, just hit the Frostbite on that. It like does 80% of their health outright. And of
seconds
course, it roots
remaining.
them in place for such a long time. It's actually a really powerful counter pick.
I like it.
Reserve time.
Let's see who pairs up good with the Crystal Maiden. Everybody pairs up good with the Crystal Maiden. What am I talking
Just
about?
about. Yeah.
But Chen does get removed, so Malaysia had about the same idea. Because
Alliances
one of the
turn to
things
ban.
that is risky here, I mean, yeah, you mentioned Crystal Maiden could potentially jungle, but in theory, Team Malaysia would have 4 people getting solid gold in the jungle and 3 lanes, while Alliance would have 3.5 perhaps if Crystal Maiden is going into the
10
jungle.
seconds remaining.
Would you expect them to go for a jungle hero of their own? I mean, we still have an Enigma in the pool.
5
They will,
seconds
if they wish.
remaining.
For Alliance, I think
Yeah.
that they could opt for Enigma definitely. I would prefer to see a
Reserve
Sven
time.
here. They've been running it a lot more frequently, a support Sven, and it pairs well with CM because of course you get the aura
Yeah.
to supplement the fact that Sven is really weak in terms of early mana pool. And mid game you actually get the benefit of the War Cry versus the
Radiant
presence of the
team
Dark Lord of the Shadow Fiend. So I think Sven would be a really solid pick here. But Enigma, he's a great one to just kind of secure the mid to late game team fights and really, if the game goes long enough with the 6.82 rubber banding and such, should be able to farm up some core items to define how the fights play out. So it just depends on if they want to be active now or later.
Yeah, and one more core needed for Team Malaysia, I would assume. Lion support, Enchantress jungle. Bit of
10
a
seconds remaining.
standard matchup in terms of who goes where. Might be a bit too
5
predictable
seconds remaining.
because the Lions can make some changes, though. For the moment, they might seem kind of predictable as well. We've seen a lot of teams
Reserve
kind of
time.
messing around with that a lot, with picking up heroes and then completely like mixing up who goes where, which lanes they're gonna go for, and that normally brings quite a big advantage in the game as well. It doesn't look like this game is gonna be one of those, unless we're gonna be completely surprised, in which case mission accomplished, I guess. But Malaysia, one more carry needed. Which one are you expecting here? Because there is a load still in the pool.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot. I've seen actually Titan have been running a lot of Chaos Knight even before the patch when he got buffed up. Mushi's been playing a lot of him, so it really depends if Mushi wants to pick up the SF here or he wants to hand it to KOXY. We also see the Razor is still in the pool and it's still a very powerful hero in his own right.
Definitely an option. They end up going with the Lone
Ooh.
Druid. They have got a lot of Bulldog heroes in that
Alliances
Yeah.
lineup. Want to show them how it's done. Of course, he got a buff. Can farm real fast. I would say perhaps it's a bit too greedy because you put a lot of pressure on Enchantress and Lion in this case.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
know
You
that-
want-
Yeah, sorry.
You no problem. It's you want Enchantress to be able to kind of toe the line between that number 4 position and the number 3 position. You want her to be able to get some real items towards the mid to late game, maybe even something like an Aghanim Scepter, Mask of Madness type thing, to do more damage against the Viper, who mitigates a lot of magical and
seconds
physical,
remaining.
but not the pure. So Enchantress can be really good in that situation if you get her a little bit of farm. And
Reserve
yeah,
time.
that Lone Druid, Hand of Midas, it's gonna put you so far behind as far as tempo goes, and you pretty much hand Naga a free Radiance there.
Yeah. That is my worry as well. And Viper overall pretty strong
10
mid-game
seconds
orientated
remaining.
hero, which is he comes online earlier than a Shadow Fiend, let's put it that way, if he is indeed doing well on the lane, doesn't get ganked too much. And yeah, Enchantress Lion, okay, they can roam and they can gank, but they are also supports that kind of need their levels, especially Lion does need his levels because he is actually, together with Crystal Maiden, one of the squishiest supports. So I'm kind of worried if they might not be too greedy, but it all comes down to how active that Nature's Prophet is as well in terms of coming around for ganks and such as that. Witch Doctor last pickup for Alliance, so a bit of extra team fight as well, because that's actually one of the things that we kind of lack in a way. I mean, we have got some team fight abilities, but not gigantic team fights. And Witch Doctor and Naga Siren actually have a decent combination as far as that
10
goes,
seconds
and also
remaining.
is support that can be very effective when roaming. Sorry
5
for all the
seconds
background noise, but
remaining.
cats and stuff. Well, one anyways.
Certainly. But yeah, I actually really like the Witch Doctor here. The Paralyzing Cask is going to be a very good skill for determining how the fights play out. The Lone Druid is very frequently within
Prepare for
cast range
battle.
of his own bear. Just the way he auto attacks and such, he's going to be bouncing it back and forth a lot as well. The Enchantress creeps are affected by the creep duration of that spell as well. So it's another Enchantress counter in a way because the creep stun duration is 5 full seconds. So both Mithri and Ake playing heroes that just completely counteract this potential jungle play from Extinct, who is, of course, running on that Enchantress this time around. There is a smoke movement, but it's right now just on the Lone Druid Bear and Net, trying to get in position, maybe hide out on the side chop, and try to go for a flanking play onto Bulldog when they get the opening.
Yeah, nice early ward already placed here up the high ground, spotting Alliance's rotation. A lot of pinks coming out. So that is good wording from Ohio. Let's take a quick look at who is playing what. As for Alliance, they'll be playing from the dire side for this first game of the best of 3 in the first round of the double elimination bracket for WCA 2014. We have Loda playing Naga Siren, no surprises there. Misery playing as Crystal Maiden, Ake on the Witch Doctor, Jesse playing the Viper, and that will leave Admiral Bulldog playing his Clockwork. And I don't think we're going to be surprised here all too much in terms of laning. Just going to see Loda go on the safe lane, Jesse in the mid lane, and supports helping out Loda, and hopefully for us also rotating a bit towards that mid lane.
There's some that are less familiar with the Lone Druid safe lane play, that kind of tri lane, but what it enables is that the supports can roam. Enchantress and Lion can help out the Shadow Fiend in the mid just as much as they focus on the bottom, and the Lone Druid can fare pretty well 1v1 against the Clockwork early. Not going to prevent him from getting level 6, but still going to be able to control the creep waves and get his early CS. So I think that there's a lot of merit to what Titan are doing, but obviously Alliance, they are going to look to shake things up with the Witch Doctor and the Crystal Maiden. But with her reduced intelligence, I'm not sure how early Crystal Maiden could gank nowadays. Like, it used to be she was the strongest level 2 hero to gank with, but not even having enough mana for 2 spells now. She's going to be chugging Clarity. She's going to have to put some points in the Aura. Yeah, we'll have to see exactly how Misery builds this one.
Indeed. And you want to introduce Team Malaysia, by the way?
Sure thing. Looking over at Mushi, he's going to be playing the presumably mid lane Shadow Fiend, already getting 2 branches to rush out that bottle. Very conservative build for him. It's going to be KYXY right now looking towards the bottom lane, and already has the Spirit Bearer making his way across the map. But he's going to be supported by Extinct on the Enchantress, as well as Net on the Lion. And that will leave, of course, Ohio to play on that off lane Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and I like the positioning of Nets. I wonder if he's gonna stick around. Clockwork is not a hero that is very easy to gank. Especially not because it actually could end up being your Doom as a support. So hiding near the side shot might not be the best of ideas. And he's actually rotating back. But he did pick up boots. So he is planning on making some movements across the map and hopefully also helping out that Shadow Fiend in that middle lane. Which is, it's going to be one of the key lanes, I think. Not necessarily because those heroes are going to carry their team, but mostly because it will determine the tempo of the game. They will be the ones to make things happen. They will be the ones to decide when the laning stage is over, when there's fights going to happen, and, well, who's coming out ahead of the laning stage? I don't think, like, neither Nature's Prophet nor Clockwork should, in theory, die on their lane.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, it depends on obviously how they position it, how they control the creep equilibrium, but in general, the Nature's Call and the Cogs are great tools for that, and skilled players, generally speaking, are going to be under their tower for the most part. It's going to take some really good smoke movement from either pair of supports to really make some things happen early. For now, Extinct has a couple of sentry wards that he's not going to really make much use of. He wanted to make sure his camps weren't blocked off, but he gets free open jungle here. Early Centaur pickup for him, and yeah, he can pretty much just take full control. The Troll Warlord also spawns in the western hard camp, so these are two great creeps to gank with very early on.
Yeah, very scary as well. That Centaur is going to make a big difference. Also, of course, what we have to look out for is if there's Harpies picked up. Because that is actually a bit more aggressive. It used to not be very successful against a Viper. Because, of course, of the corrosive skin. But with the 1400 range, you can take full advantage of that again. If he does find that neutral creep, of course. In the meantime, Chessie is actually the one with the creep wave in his favor. He was having a bit of a better block as well. As we do have Bulldog getting harassed out of the Radiant jungle. But not at least before he picked up level 2. So that is very good for him. He's actually ahead of Ohio as well, who hasn't picked up a single point just yet, and is going to have a tough time because he did not get any wards. There is no block for any camps, so Aki just has free reign to pull and stack however much he wants to.
And Misery is smoked up, but he only has one Frostbite available. We'll see if this flanking movement is going to be enough, though they need the creep wave under the tower to go on this, but they have the ensnare skill
Radiant's top tower
up on the Naga, so if they start with one skill, they'll be able to follow up with the other two, and Ohio would be in a bad spot. But for now, he breaks the smoke of Misery, and they're going to have to dive deep if they want this kill.
Yeah, and they kind of make it obvious as well. Ohio is like seeing two heroes standing right on their tower, and actually he's going to come in range anyway. This could be your first blood. Frostbite coming out as well. Is he tanky enough to survive? He does have boots, but it doesn't matter. Aki gets first blood. That's, of course, a good start for Alliance, and Prophet wasting no time teleporting back to get that experience coming into his tower.
And the new creep path just doing in Ohio there. He could handle 2 spells being thrown at him, but all 3 was just way too much for him to deal with, even with boots of speed. So he going down is just accomplishing not much. And on the mid lane, Chessie doing a lot of right-click harassment with the poison deck. Is it going to be enough? Mushi going down with one more right-click.
He's still dead.
Wow.
Still dead. I did not pick up the last hit, but it came out. Anyways, Chessie, very convincing, getting that kill, and on top of that, Shadow Fiend is sitting on 7 last hits, which in theory, you mentioned it earlier, 7 is about the number that you would look for to be able to win a lane based on just the extra damage that you get from the souls. But now that he died, he's back to 2 souls, and that sets him back real big.
Yeah, like you see, he's even struggling just for these few last hits in the open air, and he's going to be bringing himself back up to 4 Necromancy charges. That's 8 damage, but he needs some help from his allies. Net and Extinct have to make their way towards the mid lane and find an opening. They're going to smoke up now. There's a couple ways they could take this. My personal favorite with the new terrain changes is to actually go up through this route and down through the western side past the tier 1 tower there. And you can actually go all the way to this point here before your smoke breaks. It's absolutely incredible. But we'll see if they actually get that opening, or if they're just going to be looking to give a little bit of equilibrium to the Shadow Fiend in the mid.
Yeah, but this is spotted out by Alliance. They have a ward up there. Net smoke broke from the Viper. Nature's Prophet comes in. They know that they want to try and go on that clockwork, and let's see if they actually can. If they maybe can get a kill in return. We have also a teleport coming in. Ohio is going to be the one in trouble, but in comes the cask. Might be enough. He gets blocked by his own Treant, and he ends up going down. Impale coming out. Ake dies as well. That is going to be Bulldog trying to run from this one. It is Cogs coming out. Misery is still here. Has still got his Frostbite, waiting for someone to be out of position. It's going to be the bear in the end that he can get. And the bear does not die, which would have been quite a big deal. In the end, it turns out to be a 1-for-1. Ohio got blocked in by Creep's Bulldog. Well, basically wasn't needed there because he blocked himself in, and the Lion helping out there as well. But good kill. A good reaction from Alliance as well.
Yeah, great TP response, seeing the full 4-man rotation down there. They needed to make something happen, and they were able to really stop the bleeding on that one, stifle whatever losses they could have received, get a kill in that single file laning configuration, and yeah, Ohio's now kind of got a 1v1 against Loda, at least for a short time. But yeah, we're going to be seeing the Crystal Maiden just kind of moving between the lanes now. She wants to play reactively. She wants to pretty much prevent any big rotations coming out from Extinct. He's got another Centaur. Has 45 seconds left on that one, but looks like he has to go for some movement very soon with it. Enchanting this troll, he could go with these 2 and get a ensnare into War Stomp combo, but the timing is very limited.
Yeah, the wave is actually pushed out towards the tower on the bottom lane, which makes it extra difficult to actually gank up on that Clockwork, which is a hero that I already mentioned is not the easiest to gank regardless. But we'll see if she can make it happen. Another teleport coming out? No, he actually cancelled it this time. Ohio sticking on his lane, so perhaps they'll just rotate this into a push. Might not get the Clockwork kill, but at least they can get some early gold from the tower if they get lucky. They just profit, still teleporting in. Might be looking for a Sprout. Does he have it? He does, but won't be able to get it. Fortification coming out as well. It should still be a tower going down. Extra gold going away of Team Malaysia, but no kills.
On top, we're going to see Ake and Loda kind of attempt the same thing, but we're actually going to see Net make a rotation here. So Lion's going to get some much needed experience here. You're talking about how much he can benefit from that experience gain, moving in towards levels and Finger of the Death and things of that nature. So good rotation to hold the line, but right when he gets there, the creep kind of disperses, and yeah, it's just going to be him standing as a sentinel here on the top lane. In the meantime, Mushi, he's going to be going for this a little bit controversial build, but I'm a big fan of it even after the nerf. Mechanism is going to be picked up on the Shadow Fiend here, and it allows him to just really focus on offense. Like, by picking up a defensive item, he's able to just purely use his skills in a very offensive fashion, and just getting hooked is not going to be the end of his life.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I haven't seen it that often, to be honest, but it definitely makes sense, because who else is going to build it? You could, of course, have Enchantress build it, but you want her to go for maybe a bit more aggressive things later on. And to be honest, she's not getting that much farm because she's moving around so much.
Radiance top tower
And Lion,
is
same
under
story, doesn't really get that much gold. And you do want to have a mechanism up fast, because Jesse is, of course, the one to build the mechanism for his team. And if one team has a mechanism, you kind of are at quite a disadvantage if you don't have one for yourself. As Jesse is actually doing really well. I mean, in terms of cores and carries, wait a second, we do have a smoke gank of Misery and Aki. Won't be able to gank up on the Shadow Fiend, which I think was their plan, but might just settle for a Lion, who is hanging around and is actually not making his way over there.
You see the drawing on the map too. It seems like KOXY thinks the gank is going to be coming down bottom lane. Sees a risk potentially with hook shot and then two-man smoke, but we're going to see them run right into Extinct here, and there's a real kill potential.
Yep, Cask does not bounce around very favorably. Actually, only hits X once, and it's not going to get him killed unless Jesse makes a dive for it, and he does. Okay. Thank you. Jesse gets a kill in the end. 4 for 1. Not over yet, though, because the Sprout catches on 2, and Misery actually getting blocked by a Treant. Is it going to be enough? He does have those boots. We'll also get a bounty rune, so I was also happy with that one, and they can just walk away from that scenario. Might not be the best gank that they were hoping for, but hey, Jesse gets a kill, and they get out alive. I wouldn't complain.
Exactly. Mushi was also forced to TP away from the situation when he got hit by the Viper Strike. He will come back and claim a double wave here with 2 raises, so at level 7, level 8, you can expect that from an SF, and that will finish up his mechanism, though we have to consider how mana dependent he is. Down bottom.
Yeah, Bulldog is in some trouble, but at least Jesse's here to get some revenge. KYXY is gonna try to teleport out and will actually make it out. No revenge by Jesse. His hand. Entangles. Now Bulldog knows what it feels like.
Exactly. Hard to disengage from something like that, and the only option is TPing right after the Entangle comes through, but he was trying to bait a little bit more for the Viper, and in the end they don't get anything but a loss on the Clockwork's end. He's okay with that, though. He's got his hookshot available. He can make rotations now, so the fact that he's back at the well means he can TP to the top and respond to the movements of Malaysia here.
Yeah, movements of Malaysia mean for 4 heroes to show up on the top lane, and a bear coming out as well. Not the owner of the bear just yet, so the bear itself doesn't really do that much. But 4 heroes here against 1 solely Clockwork. He does have perhaps some backup from Aki, but he's actually making his way out of this situation because I think they just have to give up their tower if they don't intend to fight this. And to be honest, why would they try and fight this? They've got a farming Naga Siren who you don't want to force into anything yet until she actually has got that Radiance. She's sitting on 2,300 gold, and she's just doing really well. Like, highest last hits on the map by long shot, because he's like 70 for 6. With Lone Druid, equivalent of the Naga Siren in this game, I would say. Sitting at 47 to 9. However, he does have 2 kills.
Yeah, that adds up a little bit there, as well as the tower gold that's favoring their team as a whole. But Loda, he's going for a hard rush here. He's not going for like an Aquila or a Drums build-up to try to find that item. No, he's bottle crowing when he can, but otherwise straight out rushing that Sacred Relic. And while that does have its weaknesses and vulnerabilities, if you get it out early enough, you can farm quickly enough to nullify those very quickly. So we'll see that progression. Right now, the courier's just moving about, picking up the bottle, playing the milkman, and yeah, Loda just keeps doing his thing.
Yeah, looks like we have a battle for the top tier 1 tower. Let's see who's getting the kill. It is Bulldog that gets the last hit. Not really a kill, but last hit anyways. No deny, meaning the towers are back to being even. And it seems like both teams are kind of okay with not forcing the issue all too much, unless they actually have a solid plan and solid chances that the bear actually gets here in some trouble. Viper Strike goes out for him as well. They really don't like this panda, but they won't get the 300 gold. He will be able to just be forced back to base. Means no entangles. I guess that is something.
Yeah. Can't always rely on it. I've seen a few opportunities for him to fish for openings. Like Misery got a few right clicks against him, and the entangle actually would have put him in a very difficult situation. But at least for now, it's just going to be Lone Druid surviving, trying to prevent any feeding, and resting towards his first big item. I'm actually not sure exactly how he wants to build it. The Midas change, we've talked about it, probably not the best route to go. So maybe just going for a Battle Bear build like the Maelstrom plus the Orb of Venom.
Yeah, he does kind of need to be a kind of a battle bear, as you call it, because we know that Alliance is going to be done fairly soon with being ready to fight. I mean, they have the mechanism. I think the only thing they want to wait for is Loda's Radiance, which is not that far away. It's closer by than Lone Druid's ones, if he wants to go for that. We do have another smoke up. It is Net and Extinct rotating towards the top lane to help out their Shadow Fiend, who's been farming on top, who has his mechanism done as well. Still up against a Clockwork and a Witch Doctor, and Witch Doctor is now level 6, so this could turn out troublesome. As we do experience some server lag here, but unfortunately there's no escaping that one. Whoa, that's going to be Ohio coming in, the ultimate going out from Aki. It's not going to be enough to kill off Ohio, as Bulldog tries to run away from this one, won't be able to. Jesse came in, mechanism used. It's not enough though, or is it? Mushi is still gonna drop. Maybe they can get another one. It's 1 for 1 for now. As Crystal made his ultimate, casting almost the entire duration. Turns out for a Shadow Fiend for Clockwork exchange, which is very favorable for Alliance. And I just remembered that I can press the team fight recap button.
Yeah, it's really nice to see the overall shift there as far as what was used, gains and losses. But the big gain is going to be Loda, just not even involved in the fight. He's able to have confidence in his team to fight 4v5 under tower and just keep farming away. He has a Sacred Relic in just 80 gold here. That is just absolutely absurd timing for this Naga Siren. Able to really just build up towards this early aura. Now, it is worth noting that Extinct can steal one of the illusions with Enchant and get the Radiance for himself, but barring that, this is going to be a very powerful force to be reckoned with from the Naga Siren.
Yeah, it definitely is. It is also impressive to note because we have seen timings like this on relics before, but not that many with only 1 tower down. We do, of course, are now in a kind of meta-ish. I don't like using that word at all, but we are now in a meta where towers don't fall as quickly as they used to. So that means less early gold than before. It means more relying on last hits. And that makes it all the more impressive that Naga Siren has been able to farm as much. Just 1k gold away from having his Radiance up. KYXY though, still a bit further away. Needs about 2k gold.
Yeah, and I'm really not sure where Team Malaysia go from here. If they know that the time bomb is ticking in this Loda's Radiance, and they haven't really gotten any traction on them across the map so far, and they don't have an easy out here. I mean, they can obviously force issues with the mechanism, try to make big plays happen, but that's kind of what they were working towards last time on top lane, and we saw how that worked out. You really haven't seen the early presence of this Enchantress or even this Lion to this point this game. We see 2 assists on Net, we see that many on Extinct as well, but it hasn't been as impactful as you'd expect this duo to be.
Yeah, one of the biggest results, wait a second, we have got a fight here in the middle lane. Ohio is the one that's going to drop the moment that the song ends, I think, or are they actually going to try it? The illusions are going to get it, and they're going to get out safe. There was this song used, it's a level 1 song, so a 3-minute cooldown. In the meantime, on the top lane, it is Mushi that is actually fighting up against Jesse. He is able to teleport out before the cask from Ake comes in. And, well, only 1 death. And I forgot what I was going to say before. Oh yeah, I know, I remember. It's early. Cool. So you mentioned how many, how the rotations of Team Malaysia weren't really like that impactful. And one of the things that is really starting to hurt soon is the effect it has on the levels, because not successful rotations means also not a lot of extra levels for those supports, and that means that Extinct is still level 5, Lion is still level 6, while on the side of Alliance the supports are level 7 and 8, and that's actually coming to quite a big difference, because they're gonna have to share experience soon. As we see, they're grouping up as 5, trying to take down some towers, which is what they should be doing. They can't really go out and gank too much, it's too late for that basically. But it will hurt them on the experience as well. They've got a Nature's Prophet, a Lone Druid, and a Shadow Fiend. 3 heroes that love to farm all over the map, that can farm creep waves very fast. And where, as a support, where are you gonna get your farm from? Because you can't really take too much farm away from those 3 cores, to be fair.
Yeah. At this point, they've only taken 3 tier 1s, and the Radiance is up for the Naga Siren before 16 minutes. So he's already making his illusions do work for him, spreading it out. They see the Radiance aura now, and they're like, oh crap, our time has come. This is not a good spot to be in outside of Malaysia. I mean,